So the aim of today's lesson is to figure out whether we do have an outlier in our data set or no. Before we can eventually find whether there is an outlier in our data set or no, we first need to know how to locate our different quartiles and the median of the data set. So we should first know by definition what are the different quartiles and what the median is. So I'm just going to write down the different quartiles we do have. So the first one we have is Q1, which is the lower quartile. And the lower quartile is basically 1/4 of your data set. And then you have Q2, which is the median. So that's the middle. So that's exactly half of our data set. And then the third one is Q3, which is the upper quartile. And the upper quartile is 3/4 of our data set. So the easiest one to find out is the median. So the median is exactly in the middle of the data set. So if we look at this data set, the middle is actually somewhere between 15 and 18. Because if I put 15 and 18 in the box, you realize that there are exactly 4 numbers on the right hand side and 4 numbers on the left hand side. So the middle is basically between 15 and 18. Because if I draw a line here between 15 and 18, that's exactly the middle, because then you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers to the left, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers to the right. So the middle, Q2, is in between 15 and 18. So it's 15 plus 18 divided by 2. So this will give you the median if you had to work it out. So that's 16.5 here. Then the lower quartile is 1/4 of that. So if you look at the left hand side, you have these numbers 4, 7, 8, 12, 15. The middle is actually 8. And this is where the 1/4 is. So the middle of the data set is the median. And then once you have that left hand side, so the left hand side from the median, the middle of that will be the lower quartile. So here the lower quartile, Q1, is actually 8. Because you'll see that on the left of 8 you have 2 numbers, and on the right hand side of 8 you have 2 numbers. And now if you focus on the right hand side, you'll see that 24 is the middle of the right hand side. Because if you have 24 exactly in the middle, and on the left of 24 you have 18 and 21, and on the right of 24 you have 30 and 35. So the Q3 is actually 24. So spotting the median, the lower quartile and the upper quartile, that's the start. That's the first step before you actually can find an outlier or no. So first of all, if we do a summary of what we just did, you locate the middle value. So here it happens to be between 15 and 18. So since it's between 15 and 18, we took 15 and 18, we added them and divided by 2, we got 16.5. Then once you have the middle, you focus on the left hand side. So on the left hand side, so this was 16.5. The left hand side of 16.5, you have 5 numbers, and the middle of it is 8, so that becomes the lower quartile. On the right hand side of 16.5, you have another set of 5 numbers, and the middle is 24, so that becomes the upper quartile. Now, if you need to spot outliers, you have a formula for that, which is actually in the notes. You see that if you need to find the lower outlier, there's a formula for that. It's the lower quartile minus 1.5 times the interquartile range, and the upper outlier is the upper quartile plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. Now, what is the interquartile range? The interquartile range, by definition, it's the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So here it's Q3 minus Q1. So that's 24 minus 8. Okay, and that's 16. So the interquartile range is 16. Let us try to find the lower outlier now using this data. So the lower outlier is the lower quartile, which is 8 minus 1.5 times the interquartile range, which is 16. Okay, and if we do that, we get minus 16. So minus 16 will be that cutoff point from which, if we go beyond that, then any value found there will be an outlier. Then the upper outlier would be of the upper quartile, which is 24 plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. Once again, we replace it by 16 and we get 48 because it's 24 plus 24. So 48 will be that cutoff point from which any value beyond that will be an outlier. So that was our data set. If we go further to the right hand side, anything after 48 will be an outlier. And the same way, if you go to the left, anything after minus 16 will be an outlier. So in our case, we don't have any outliers because our maximum number is 35, which is still within the acceptable range, and the lowest value is 4, which is still within the range. So in our case here, we don't have any outliers.